All right, I'm going to run this. I've already ran it once today. I'm going to rerun it. When the police did their press conference today, they didn't run the whole thing. Very clearly. They did not run the whole thing. Or the press would have had much more driving questions. The Arganian was the only responsible news source that released the entire Shauna Cox video, or at least the entire Shauna Cox video that they gave him. There's obviously a lot missing at the end and a lot missing at the beginning, as in when Ryan Payne got out of the truck, when they shot at the rearview mirror, all that kind of stuff. That's all missing, of course. Anyway, that's easy to just chop off, but it made it a little harder for him to chop some stuff off. There was very clear lies, misconceptions, or what would be the word? It's not even misconception. Misguiding, as they were guiding you. There was a couple of points that sounded like, somebody was trying to hypnotize you. And they did not shoot. They did this and they did not shoot. He kept reaching for that and they did not shoot. Tick, tock. Tick, tock. Tick. I mean, it was ridiculous. So I'm going to run that, but the lines are open. If you want to call in the meantime, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run the other thing. And then I'm going to go all the way back to my original drone footage assessment, in which I'm going to correct some stuff that I said on that original, because it was the day after it came out. I found a lot of mistakes I made and a lot of stuff I literally missed. So off we go.
This operation, obviously, what the intent was to arrest the leadership of the group that was occupying the refuge. And when that opportunity to arrest that leadership presented itself,
I'm going to go back to the beginning of this, so just bear with me a minute. You get this whole thing. All right, we're going to start back from the... All right, here come the Rockettes. The Rockettes have all come out, and there you go. Gigi, Boxer, Kiki Legs, Kiki, Catnap.
Audio? Oh, unmute, sorry. Apologizing. How's that? I hear it myself now. Okay. I'd like to welcome you to this press conference. The scope of this press conference is to update the public regarding the ongoing investigation into the officer-involved shooting which occurred on January 26th in Harney County. Before we begin, I would like to provide a few expectations. First, due to the fact we are located within a secure law enforcement facility, we cannot allow unescorted access. Two, we would ask that you hold your questions to the end of the press conference. There will be some time at the end of the press conference for a few questions. Three, please refrain from disrupting any of the speakers or the press conference. Any disruptions will receive one warning, and any further disruptions you'll be escorted out of the room and off the property. We don't anticipate any issues, and we thank you for your cooperation. During this press conference, you will see quite a bit of information. We will make this available, and I will provide information at the conclusion of the press conference on how you can receive the information. Again, we're very appreciative of your understanding and cooperation. At this time, I'd like to now introduce Sheriff Nelson.
Can everyone hear this all right? Good morning. I'm Shane Nelson, the Deschutes County Sheriff. With me are Harney County District Attorney Tim Colahan and Malheur County's District Attorney Dan Norris, who is leading the investigation of the officer-involved shooting of Robert Lavoy Finicum on January 26, 2016, under Harney County's plan addressing use of deadly force, enacted under ORS 181A.775 to 815. We are here to present the results of the investigation as we know them today. Also here are United States Attorney Bill Williams, Special Agent in charge for Oregon, FBI, Greg Bretzing, and Special Agent in charge Michael Tompkins of the United States Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General.
Hey, all that guy needs is a
We
red.
ask that you hold your questions until the end of this
All
presentation.
that one guy needed was a red and
The
white
Deschutes
stripe
County
ID.
Sheriff's Office was
Where's
contacted by
Wally?
the Oregon State Police to conduct an independent and impartial investigation of the use of deadly force. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office then reached out to members of our Central Oregon Tri-County Major Incident Team for investigative resources. Detectives responded from the City of Bend Police, City of Redmond Police, Oregon State Police, and forensic scientists from the Oregon State Police Crime Lab. What you will see today is the FBI video, which I'm sure most of you have already seen. You will also hear the events of January 26th, which were recorded on the camera of Shauna Cox, an occupant in Mr. Finicum's truck at the time of the shooting. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office has synchronized the FBI video and the Cox audio video by matching significant visual cues in both videos. We have considered this video footage, along with statements given by the Oregon State Police troopers and the FBI hostage rescue team operators, the interviews given by Shauna Cox, Victoria Sharp, and Ryan Bundy, the physical evidence, and the crime scene reconstruction by the major incident team investigators. We have presented the investigation to Malheur County District Attorney Dan Norris so he could review the actions of the Oregon State Police troopers under applicable Oregon law governing the use of deadly force. We have determined that 8 shots were fired on that day, 6 of which have been attributed to the Oregon State Police, including the 3 shots that resulted in the death of Mr. Finicum, and 2 shots which were fired by the FBI HRT operators. You have heard a statement from Shauna Cox that, quote, hundreds of bullets, unquote, were fired at the truck, and from Victoria Sharp that, quote, as many as 100 bullets were fired at the truck, unquote. After Mr. Finicum was shot, numerous gas projectiles and flashbangs were deployed to get the remaining occupants of the truck, Ryan Bundy, Shauna Cox, and Victoria Sharp, to surrender peacefully. But again, only 8 shots were fired.
Good morning. I'm Dan Norris, the District Attorney from Malheur County.
Now,
The 8 shots fired, the 6 fired by the Oregon State.
I already ran this once today. There's no need for me to continue to run this again, except for, I'm just looking for lies. But, the whole point of this show is if you got something to say, to call in 702-605-4277, or you can call our Skype. They're both on the video. I've already ran this today. It's in the archive of our videos. This is not the point of the show. I just don't want to sit here twiddling my thumbs in silence waiting for somebody to call. So, I mean, you got something to say. Let's hear it.
Were justified and in fact necessary.
Son of a bitch.
My legal obligation under Oregon law is to review the 6 shots fired by the Oregon State Police. The Inspector General of the United States Department of Justice will review actions taken by the HRT operators.
Throughout this presentation, we will be stopping the audio video at specified points to supplement what you are seeing with information gathered during the course of the investigation and to give you the laws which apply to those actions. Prior to Ms. Cox's reporting, the 2 vehicles carrying members of the unlawful armed occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge were stopped to arrest those members for federal felony charges based on the criminal acts arising from that unlawful occupation. The occupants of the first vehicle cooperated with the Oregon State Police and were arrested without incident. The occupation leader, Mr. Ammon Bundy, as well as Ryan Cavalier and Mark McConnell, were in this vehicle. Mr. Finicum was driving the second vehicle. In Mr. Finicum's truck were Ryan Bundy, Ryan Payne, Shauna Cox, and Victoria Sharp. None of them complied with commands from the Oregon State Police to cooperate with the arrest process. The Oregon State Police fired 1 less lethal OC round at the truck to gain compliance. Mr. Payne then complied with commands from Oregon State Police troopers, got out of Mr. Finicum's truck, and was arrested on federal charges. At that time, Ms. Cox turned on her camera and began recording. This video footage became valuable to the investigators of the major incident team. I want to now direct your attention to the monitor.
Shoot me! Just shoot me! I'm gonna meet the sheriff. The sheriff is waiting for us. So you do as you damn well please. But I'm not going anywhere. Here I am, right there. Right there, put a bullet through it. You understand? I'm going to meet the sheriff. Back down and you kill me now. Go ahead, put the bullet through me. I don't care.
Where's Ryan?
I'm going to go meet the sheriff. You do as you damn well please.
What for?
Well, I'm going to ask them if they want to go out.
What for? Why are we
You
getting
want
out?
out?
What for? Where are we getting
Who
out?
are you? Yeah, who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Oregon State Police.
Okay, well, I'm going over to meet the sheriff in Grand County. You'll come along with us. We'll talk with us over there. You can go ahead and shoot me. Pick the laser right there, put the bullet through the head. Okay, boys, it's going to get real. You want my blood on your hands? Get it done, because we got people to see and places to go. Where I go? You need to back off. You need to back off.
Where the heck is Ammon?
Never stop.
Did Ammon?
You're wasting oxygen, son.
Where did they
Did they have Ryan speak?
out?
I'm not turning over. I'm going into Dade County.
Well,
Going into Grant County to see the sheriff.
well, we duck, and you drive. What are they gonna do, try to knock us out? How much further we gotta go?
We got about 50 half miles.
Tell them to approach the vehicle.
Okay.
Now, Ryan's talking to him, right?
Okay.
You been talking to him?
I can't tell.
I can't even see him, except the guy behind the door that's got his gun on us. So we have kids in here.
Hey, who can we call?
I don't. My phone.
Turn that down.
Where's my
You
phone?
ready? You better realize, you got people on the way. You want a bread basket, it's gonna be on your hand. We're gonna go see the sheriff.
Call Joseph Rice.
Better understand how this thing's gonna end. We'll be laying down here on the ground with my girl on the street, or I'm gonna go see the sheriff.
Don't have any.
We got people on route.
Yes, we do. Hold this.
You're wasting your off, you
Hold
do.
this camera. Listen. Okay. Can't take pictures. Keep an eye on the camera. Keep an eye on the board. Can you take pictures and still have it recording? Okay. Okay.
What's his number?
You need to back down.
We have no service here.
We're calling you. We get it.
Yeah, they got it.
There's no service here at
Should
all.
never have stopped. Should never have stopped.
I'm gonna keep going.
Then we have to duck.
I know.
They did Ryan. If we take
You
off.
need to get Ryan back.
Shoot your tires out.
That's what it is.
Ryan Hammond,
Why did they pull you over?
There you go. There's no service here.
Because,
are you ready?
well, where's the guns?
Stop, you can't get around. I'm gonna go. You guys ready?
Get down.
And you duck camera. Give me that camera. Okay, give me this camera. Go.
The truck was stopped to arrest Finnegan, Payne, Buddy, and Cox for federal felony charges based on criminal acts arising from the armed occupation of the Malheur County National Library.
All right, all you video analysts, take the pullover video, match it up with Shauna Cox's video, and let's see how much video they cut out of the overhead video, because when they had that car stopped, it didn't look like that truck sat there as long as LaBoy was hanging out the window talking. And I noticed they also cut that video off before Ryan Payne dove out the door after taking a shot at his hand. So, where's that part of the video?
The occupants of the truck knew that the Oregon State Police had appropriately identified themselves and told them to get out of the truck. They had been given both visible and audible commands to stop by law enforcement personnel who were appropriately attired and with appropriately marked police vehicles. At this point in the conversation, the videos show that the occupants of the truck had an agreement to elude the police in a vehicle. Eluding the police in a vehicle is a Class C felony in the state of Oregon.
All right, I'm going to pause their bullshit narrative for a minute. And let's go look at the actual. Let's go look at the actual full Shauna Cox video.
Sheriff in Grand County, you're coming along with us. And you talk with us
In
over
full
there.
screen and with that all little chop,
You go ahead
and
and shoot me.
this is what
That
you're
razor
seeing.
right there.
That's what always pisses me off. They always tell us what we're seeing. You know what? We're not blind or stupid. We're not blind or stupid. We can see what we're seeing and hear what we're hearing. They always think we're too blind or too goddamn stupid to make sense of what we're seeing or hearing. Well, with Common Core math, and if you're under 40 or 30 anyway, well, maybe that's the case. But this is pretty damned obvious what we're seeing. So now we saw that bullshit narrative. Let's go look at the actual full run of this.
Put the bullet through the head. Okay, boys? This is going to get real. You want my blood on your hands? Get it done, because we got people to see and places to go. No, I don't.
You need to back off.
You need to back off.
Where in the heck is Ammon?
Also, you're going to hear some stuff. You know, where's Ryan Payne? Where is Ammon? Ryan Payne was already out of the truck at this point. Where's that part of the video? Because Shanna Cox started filming this as soon as they got pulled over. Where's that video? Why is that not part of this video? Because they had already popped a couple of rounds off at the truck. We saw that in the video when he stuck his hands out. And she verified it in her own account.
Shouldn't have ever stopped.
Did Ammon?
You're wasting oxygen, son.
Where they got a...
What? Oh, did they have Ryan to be arrest him?
Well, oh no, via the chat room. No, they didn't cut the phones. They purposely set this up in a area that has no access. Our reporter that I paid to send out there went out there and drove along that road, and all cell access stops about a quarter mile back from where they pulled him over, and you do not get cell access back for about 21 miles. This was on purpose, and it was an ambush, and it was a kill box. They're not fooling anybody.
He shouldn't have got out.
He shouldn't have got out.
I'm not turning over. I'm going into Day County. I'm
Well,
going
if,
into Grant County to see the sheriff.
well, if we duck and you drive, what are they going to do? Try to knock us out?
We
How
probably
much further
get
we got to go?
Go shoot your tires.
We got about 50 miles.
Could we?
Okay.
Tell them to approach the vehicle.
Okay.
And Ryan's talking to him, right?
Okay.
Is he talking to him?
I can't tell.
I can't even see him except the guy behind the door that's got his gun on us. Say we have kids in here.
Okay, who can we call?
I don't have service.
Call that sheriff.
Yeah, watch you two try to kill my video over this song, whatever the hell this song is. I know what it is, but they turned it down. Thank God.
We got people on the way. You want a bloodbath? It's going to be on your hand. We're going to go see the sheriff.
Call Joseph Rice.
His number.
Better understand
I
how
have
this
it.
thing's going to end.
What's the number?
I'm going to be
I'm
laying
finding
down
it.
here on the
Hold on.
ground with my blood on the street, or I'm going to go see the sheriff.
You don't have any?
We got people
service?
en route.
I think
Yes, we do. Hold this. Hold
You're
this
wasting
camera.
your oxygen.
Hold this camera. Listen. Okay. Take pictures. Keep an eye on him. All right. Keep an eye on the boy.
Can you take pictures and still have
No,
it
it's going.
recording?
It's recording
Okay,
now.
cool.
Okay. No. I don't
Okay, what's
have
his number?
I'm looking. Just a minute.
You need to back down.
We don't have any service. We have no service here.
Start calling people. They did it because there's no service here.
I
Yeah,
know
they
it.
got it.
They know it. There's no service here at
We
all.
should never have stopped. We should
Yeah.
never have stopped.
I'm going to keep going.
Then we have to duck.
I know.
What are they gonna do with Ryan?
Okay?
If we take
We
off,
need
what are
to
they
get
gonna do?
Ryan
Shoot-
back.
Shoot your tires out.
Well,
Most likely.
okay, Ryan Ammon.
Where's
Why did they pull you
We'll go
over?
get help.
There's no service here.
Just because.
Okay, you ready?
Well, where's those where's the
They got
guns?
him stopped. He can't get around him. I'm going to go. You guys ready?
Okay, get
Then-
down.
Then you duck
Get
down.
down.
Give me that
Up.
camera. Okay, give me this camera. Go. Got it.
Are they shooting?
Got it. Keep going.
Okay, what about Ammon and those guys?
We can't get around him. I'm going to go get help.
Okay.
Stay down. Stay down.
I need
Stay
a phone
down.
so I can call as soon as I get service.
Wait up. Yeah, keep watching the phone to see if you get any service.
So, here we go. We got people down in the back seat. They've already taken 2 shots at him, plus whatever happened before we even saw it when they took a pop at Ryan Payne's hands. I don't know if it was what do they call them? Less than lethal round. I don't even know what that means. What the hell is a less than lethal round? But anyway, and Victoria is the same age as my daughter, which just steams me up. She was just going to sing at this rally they were headed for.
I can't even get Joe right.
Coming up fast.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I don't know about numbers.
Well, I got numbers, but I can't call because...
You know, and I have to give, as we're coming up on this, I have to give great kudos of how Shauna Cox maintained her cool. Ryan maintained his cool. Actually, Victoria maintained her cool better than I would imagine. But you know, and God love her. You know, I told her a couple of weeks ago, we were kind of talking on Facebook, and you know, I was trying to tell her how people were using her, and then trying to recreate a new narrative to fit their own agenda, etc. Like Project Camelot and CNN and all these people. They were just using her. And you know, she's just an innocent soul. She's like, oh, please don't be mean to those people. You know, and it's like, you got to be mean to these people because they're out here to destroy you.
We have no service.
Okay.
No, mobile network not available.
Do you have numbers for people here in town?
Yeah, but... Hang on!
Okay, they're shooting.
Hang on!
Okay, we're down. Okay, we're here.
Go ahead and shoot me!
Jim! Trying to.
Shoot me! Shoot on the
Stay down, stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Damn it. Are they shooting him? Did I shoot him? You assholes. Oh my God! Hold still, hold still. Stay down.
Is
he dead? Don't get out. I'm EMT! I'm EMT! Stop it. No!
Are you hit?
No, I'm EMT! No, hold on, don't do it. Hey, they're shooting. Don't do anything. The door is shut. Where the hell is the boy? Down.
I can't see.
No! Shut up. Stay down, Ryan. Oh, God! Ryan, stay down. Stay down. Oh, shit. Keep down.
The boy.
Did they kill him?
I think they did, and they're shooting over here on this door.
Oh, I got hit too.
Okay, hold still.
Where did you
I
get
don't
hit?
know. It didn't.
Hold still, hold still.
Ryan, where did you get
hold
hit?
Still.
I'm not bleeding.
Okay, don't shoot
Where
us.
did you get hit, Ryan?
I'm okay. It's on
Okay,
the
I'm
shoulder.
going to take some.
It's okay.
I'm taking some. Keep down. Oh, shit. Well, I don't know. Get out of the car. How are we supposed to get out of the car?
Did they tell us to get out of the car?
No, I can't hear anything. I don't dare get out of the car. Oh, shit. Quit shooting our windows.
Where are they shooting them?
They're hitting the windows. I don't know. They're trying to break our window.
God, keep us safe, please.
Please protect us,
Please,
God.
God.
Please protect us. Please protect us. Please protect us. We need help. We need help. We need help.
Did they kill him? They killed
Oh,
him.
I can see a laser coming in.
They killed. Oh my God, they killed him.
Okay. So where's the rest of everyone?
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah,
I can see lasers going by.
Where did you get hit?
I'm okay.
He's got lasers.
got a laser.
Keep your head down. I can see the laser. If you see a laser, keep it away
Dude,
from us. There's a laser on your knee. Stop! I don't dare get out because they'll shoot me.
I know.
Okay.
I don't like hunkering down here either.
Me either, but I don't know what to do because
I don't know.
they keep shooting lasers at us.
Get too stinking lax. Think things are just all dandy and fine. We got too damn lax.
Yeah. Damn, why do they keep shooting?
They're
Why
trying to take my head off is what they're trying to
I
do.
know, but all of us? Stop! 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 Please! Stop! That's ridiculous. Because you're stupid. Are you gonna kill all of us? Hide, please.
8 shots, my ass.
Those were gas rounds.
Yeah, they are. They're good up your nose, but. Can we get out? Do we get out?
No, don't get out.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Okay. Okay. God. Okay. God. Please keep
Okay,
me.
there.
Okay, they got lasers still on us.
They got lasers still on us. Lavoy got out. I think they've killed Lavoy. They just shot gas rounds into the car. We're hunkered down in here trying not to be shot.
He's shooting. That's one way. He's shooting at the
Shooting more gas rounds. The gas is getting pretty thick in here.
God, please.
Anyway.
You didn't get out. I don't dare get out. Will they shoot me?
Yeah, they'll shoot you.
How am I gonna get out? If I get...
Anyway.
Can we put a white flag out?
Yeah, I would put a flag out. Let's put a flag out.
Do you have a white flag? Yep.
I'm not sure what they got. What you got?
There's a laser shooting right over here around this.
Okay. The gas dissipates.
He's trying to break this window. He's trying to break the window we're at.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything white? Does he have a white pro on?
I can't get my shirt off. He's a laser trying to shoot this window. He's got this window open here.
Speak to people. Anyway, they ambushed us on the way to John Day. And now they're shooting into our vehicle. And we're hunkered down. We do not have phone service at this location.
I surrender! Can we just surrender?
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, Ryan Bundy called that. They got lackadaisical. They got too bold, or not too bold, but just too trusting in the system that they thought they were trying to promote, and that's what happened. This video that I did, I just kept running this over and over and over again to let it burn into people.
Okay, let's get out. Okay! That's you, Ryan. I don't know if you can get out. You get out first. Let her in first. Let her out first. You go first. You go first.
Please don't shoot me!
Good. Go.
Okay, I get out.
Okay, get out.
Okay.
No, he'll shoot Ryan first. He'll shoot you first, Ryan. Hands up. Hands up.
The boy's dead.
Sit. Okay.
Now, here's another question I have to ask. And Shannon Cox has asked it before. The guy that was driving the Jeep that had Eamon Bundy and the other guys in it, he kept, when he did put out his first video, which has been deleted, he kept referring to the guys as HRT, Hostage Rescue Team, which is an elite FBI force. How the hell did that dude know that HRT was up? Yeah, they drove 70 miles an hour for a minute and a half. So, how the hell did he know HRT was sitting up the road? I still think that guy, I can't remember his name. They're just, No, McConnell, I don't know. I still think that guy was FBI because he knew all the terminology. He knew all of everything to call him, and nobody knew HRT was sitting up there, which is an elite FBI task force that is seldom used in the United States. All right, area code 207, who dat, where you at? You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty pissed off. Pretty pissed off. How about you?
I don't know, man. I think it's going pretty crappy, dude. I mean, the internet is lit up with this one video And anyone with a set of eyes can see that they didn't have, they shouldn't have shot that guy. I mean, he had his hands up. I mean, I don't even know why we're having a debate. I mean, no one can see. I mean, no one has any common sense. I mean, what's going on?
That's exactly what's freaking me out, because, they put together this press release this morning, or this afternoon at 1:30, was it Ocean time or whatever, and and I broadcast that live, and then apparently, as I understand it, the Organian got one of the CDs and went home with it, and as I'm understanding it, I may be wrong, but I noticed some stuff going on the Organian website in which they released the video I have been showing, and then it went away for a little bit, and then it came back about 4 minutes shorter, and because they released the full video, which they were not supposed to do, they were supposed to release the FBI video, just their parts of it that we saw at the press conference. But instead, when they took the DVD, they took the whole video and put it up, and they got in some crap about it, and then it went down, and then it came back up, and then and it was all cut up.
Well, so, I mean, that's not my problem, man. My problem is that I watched the press release. I watched them come out, and they had, I don't know, man. It just, even how they come out, they had a couple of young guys come out, and they had a suit and tie come out, and then they had that bald guy come out that said he was the district attorney for that county. I mean, even the way they presented what they had done was crazy, dude. They come out and they talked to the public, and they told them how it was going to be. They told them if they disrupted anything that they were going to get kicked out, or they're going to get warned first, and then they're going to get kicked out.
Oh, well, hey, I have something to add to that. I tried to get somebody that is legitimate press with a legitimate radio station in there. That entire press conference was by invite only.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can tell, man. I mean, they're running the show, and they just, they treat the American public like we're stupid and like we can't see. I mean, 8 shots. I mean, come on, man. I just got on watching your video, dude. You can count 8 shots within 5 minutes. 3 minutes. You can count 8 shots. I mean, people are screaming. Like I said, I mean, what is the matter with America, dude? I mean, people don't have eyes anymore. They don't have ears anymore. They can't see. I mean, what? I mean, can you tell me, dude? I mean, what is the problem here?
I can't. I don't know. This is frustrating as shit to me. Last night. I mean,
to me, man.
I've been so mad. I have been so pissed off all day. It's like I just want to run around in circles because I feel completely impotent to do a damn thing about any of this. And
I totally understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch your show. The internet right now is lit up, and everyone's wondering what to do. Everyone wants to know what to do. And I got to tell you, man, coming from past experience, justice costs a lot in this country. And the lawyer that's telling that nice woman that, don't worry, we'll have our day in court. Don't worry, we'll have our day in court. Well, I got to tell you, man, I've heard all that shit before, and that don't mean shit to me, man. That lawyer, I mean, what's he going to do that no other lawyer can do, dude? I mean, obviously, a guy with a half eyesight can see that this has been an atrocity happened to Lloyd Finnegan and his whole family, and we got to go to court to figure out what's going on. The only thing the FBI has a hard time with right now is that a couple of them boys fired off a couple shots that they shouldn't have, and then they lied about it. Well, that should tell you right now, then the American public right now, that if you're an FBI agent and you don't have enough integrity to say whenever you fired your weapon or not, then that should tell you they've already hired a bunch of fucking liars, and that's all they are.
Well, yeah, this has all been a lie. It's all been a lie from the beginning. I get people wondering how we got, our station on YouTube got so big so fast. It's because we sent, and I paid a lot of money to put people out there to cover this. And it's been very clear from our coverage and mainstream coverage that there was two completely different things going on. Now, we'll just leave Pete Santilli out of that because that's a whole different box of monkeys. But, you know, he shouldn't be in jail.
Well, yeah, man.
He
as
should.
far as I'm concerned, you know, Pete's got his own deal going on because he was doing kind of like two things. He, instead of just being a reporter, he was kind of like being both, kind of like a middleman for the militia and a reporter, and that's his deal. I don't even want to talk about that, dude. He, you know, he's got his own deal going on.
Right, me either. I mean, but you know, it's like when they start putting press in jail, you gotta be a little spooked.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I am spooked, and everybody in America should be spooked because, you know, like you said, when they start putting press in jail and when they start filming, you know, and that's another thing too, man. No one's mentioned this. You know, what the hell are they doing flying drones over us? You know, what are they doing? I mean, and no one wants to speak up about this shit, man. No one wants to say, hey, dude, what are you guys doing? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah. It's incredible. You know what? Here, drop anchor and stay still. We got another caller, Jerry Bradley. You're also in there. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Nighthawk, great coverage.
Yeah, long time no talk. How you been doing, brother?
There's some ups and downs, you know, here and there. A lot of personal things going on, but I've been trying to follow everything, and you're right on the money on everything you're saying. The young 18-year-old gal, McDonald, I think his name was, he seemed to know the lingo that you were talking about, but he also was very rude to her in the van. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I definitely remember that.
Yeah, she spoke, she says, yeah, and for some reason he had a real attitude with me. So I guess she wasn't supposed to be there, and was a little upset about it. But as far as the editing and all that stuff goes, you're absolutely right. I have the original that you put up there. Then I mirrored your other one, by the way, just in case you wanted to know. And the editing was just all over the place because you could tell in the original he'd taken quite a few steps, but in the one you just played earlier, as soon as he stood up, they shot him. You could hear it.
Well, not to mention, I mean, he had his hands up.
Yeah, and they shot him.
When the guy steps out of his vehicle,
as soon as they got out of the door, they shot him.
I mean, the man stepped out of his vehicle with his hands up. Yep. I mean, everyone can see that. That's not even a question.
Yeah, it's there's been I still, you know, why have we not seen the truck? There's a question I have. Another question that I have is, okay, if they're going to release the Shona Cox video, why did they not release the entirety of it? Because we know she started recording the minute they got stopped. There's at least 5 minutes, according to her own account, that's missing from that video. So they're trying to control the narrative completely.
Exactly, like you said, they didn't show the video there that they could have shown where they took a shot at the truck when they originally stopped.
Yeah, exactly. And you heard two shots hit the back of that truck when they took off.
Yep.
It was a little bit covered up by wind noise, but you heard them pang, pang, bam, bam, pang, pang. So.
Yeah, and on the original, you could actually see one of those shots go off the vehicle. I looked at it close up.
Yeah, definitely. And the timeline doesn't match up with what they're doing, and they're hiding some information. They're just giving us the information that fits their narrative. You know, and I've had a lot of people try to tell me, well, why would they release this if it wasn't a fake thing or it wasn't a false flag or whatever? They're releasing this because they're giving us a message, folks.
Yeah.
They don't get it. The message is, don't mess with us. We'll kill you.
You know,
Exactly.
Nighthawk, I've been saying this for 2 years, that after watching all the stuff that's been going on and seeing all the things that are being done that we know is wrong, they know it's wrong, but yet they still continue to do it. I still say that they're just, you know, my heart just goes out to these people in that truck. I mean, imagine, like you said, especially Miss Cox, she just kept her cool to the ultimate. I don't think I could have done that. but yet I think they're just trying to get us. We're bringing them out. We're shining the light on all these cockroaches, and they're getting scared. They want us to come out, and they want to use all those rounds they bought. They want us to go nuts on them, so they'll have an excuse. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it in my gut. I looked at that. I said, no way in the world would anybody release that to make themselves look good. I mean, they did that to get us even more pissed off. And they did. They pissed us off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, that's how they released it.
Yeah, honey trapping.
They released it the same way that they released the press conference. They did it like they're in control. This is what I want you to see. And I know what you might think that you're seeing, but I'll tell you what you're seeing, and then that's what you believe.
Well, I think they're getting tired of picking people off, doctors, lawyers, whoever, patriots one by one. They want to get people in large groups. And the only way they can do that is to pull at our heartstrings so much to say, hey, listen, enough's enough, and come after them. And then they can say, okay, we didn't fire the first shot. We just got to do what we got to do here. I still say they're setting this up. Nobody can be that stupid.
I don't know, man. The American public is pretty dumbed down.
Yeah, they keep getting done. It's dumbed down more and more every day. And I discovered something else in this. I'm not going to run up the video of it, but because I'd have to go digging. But in that press conference, hold on a minute. Hey, Liz, how come that's all coming out of your speakers?
Oh, excuse me, Kat. Go ahead. Oh my God.
Can you mute? All right, sorry. Anyway, there's another show going on in the other side of the room, and it was all coming out of Liz's speakers. Anyway, so where was I at? Where was I at, guys?
I think you were talking about the people who didn't know that what President Washington, D.C. was named after.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it's like we just keep seeing these lies after lies after lies. Oh, no. Here's what I'd have to go digging to find it, but the original press release on this supposed 9mm pistol that LeBoy had,
right,
yeah, said that it was stolen. Okay, that was
and he had the serial number on it too.
Yeah, and that was the first release by the FBI. It was a stolen 9mm, and then today they said it was a gift from a family member.
Yeah,
and then they showed a picture of it. Now, here's the thing: if you dig around in some videos with LeBoy, you can look at that. It's not the same freaking 9mm because the side clasps were pearls. They were pearl handles. They have pearl handled side clasps. You understand what I'm saying? If you look at the picture of their gun, it's not the same. It's not the same sidearm of what he had. And I'm not talking about his 6-shooter that he hung on his hip. I'm talking about the gun he had on his he wore a shoulder holster, and he did have that. But David Fry had possession of both of those weapons.
Absolutely.
Because he left him back at the refuge. They took no weapons with them whatsoever. So it's like lie, lie, liar, 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 pants on fire. What the hell?
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. I mean, but I got to tell you, man, I think you gentlemen are doing a really good job, and I'm not really sure if you wake up the American public or not, but since I got a hold of the internet, it took about 6 months for me to realize that this world that we live in is nothing but a lie. So, like I said, gentlemen, stay strong. Good luck to you and the ones that you love, and keep up the good fight, guys.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
Thank you, man.
And
another thing, Nitehawk, is that one of the big things is show us the truck. Show us the truck. They won't let us see the truck.
Yeah, I want to see the truck. I also want to see all the head cam footage, all the dash cam footage. and the entire Shauna Cox footage, because we didn't get the entirety of it.
Oh yeah, when they show up for those type of things and made a suicide roadblock like that, you know they're going to have head cams. I mean, come on, guys. You know, we know they're going to have a lot of footage there to show their bodies.
Yeah, and it's Oregon State Police are required to have dash cams and lapel cams, and there's no way that footage does not exist. What's up, Jerry Bear?
I'd like to say that, thank you for my call, Nighthawk. I'd like to say that it's very suspicious the call the night before to Lavoie that Jason made in courtesy of Stuart Rose and the other guy's name, I can't recall, but they were instigating them to leave tonight or leave tomorrow. And I just have very suspicious minds about exactly who Stuart Rhodes is and who he really stands for. Because I feel my gut feeling tells me he's not legit for who he
Well,
represents.
you're kind of I know you're kind of rolling on what happened with me when I made a call to Stuart Rhodes last night.
No, I didn't catch that, sir. I'm referencing to the night before the actual ambush happened, the 25th.
Okay.
And the way that if you listen to it, Lavoie's listening, okay, I'll get with Armin, and I'm listening, and they kept pushing, you've got to leave, you got to get that sheriff, you got to blah, blah, blah. I just didn't dig, I just thought that was, very not good, because what happened, you feel it. But also, if you look at the tape of when they're actually going into the snowdrift, just before it breaks and drops back, you can see that truck, Lavoie's truck, actually tilts because he's on that bank. It actually tilts, and his door's almost straight up. Now, then they flash back to the truck coming in, following him, and the vehicle is a lot further than where it actually turned upside down. That's where I feel there's editing involved. And also,
wait. What vehicle turned upside down?
It didn't turn upside down. I'm talking about, if you watch closely, as Lavoie's vehicle is approaching the bank and enters into the left bank, just before they cut it and go and blur out for a second, you can see that the truck is turning right where Lavoie's door would almost be standing up, or a 45-degree angle. And then it just pops back and to the vehicle, the truck that
Jerry, he got caught in a snowbank. We already sent somebody out to actually investigate the actual site.
I know he got caught there. I know that, but it's weird how it looks that the vehicle should have been like almost, because he went up that embankment. That embankment was taller than those trucks. Okay.
Yeah, but it was all snow. It had nothing to do with the embankment. It was the snow itself that had been plowed off the road. Are you going somewhere with this, dude? Come on.
Yes, because if the vehicle went into the snow and nobody got out as he was getting out, it should have just cut right into the snow, and there should have been no opening where Lavoie was, unless that vehicle slid to make that open slot on Lavoie's side to give him that room to jump out. It just looks edited there, is all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not really clear on what you're talking about. It doesn't look edited to me. It pretty clearly looks like he was trying not to have a head-on collision with a bunch of vehicles that were jammed up in front of him.
That's true, Nighthawk. That's true. I'm just saying, if you...
And I sent somebody out there with video to actually tape that piece of road, Jerry. Maybe you should go back and look at my videos. I want somebody to look at that. That's not a 45-degree angle. Not for a second. I sent somebody out... Jerry, you talk, I talk. That's how this works. All right, so I sent somebody out there to take video of that just to see how that works. It's less than 10 degrees. It's just a whole hell of a lot of snow, and it stopped the truck. Okay?
Okay, I'd like to know then what really that, since there's snow plows that put that snow up on the side to keep the road clean. And if you look right there, they're almost straight up angles of the snow plow, right? It's like almost, it's a wall.
Jerry, come on, man. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, I'll get a link for you to see and make it all.
I don't want to hear that this is all fake and it was
I'm not
made
saying
up and
it's
shit.
fake. It's just edited. I feel it's edited. That's all.
Well, I just said earlier that it was edited because the overhead video we saw and the overhead video they showed today were two different things.
That's right. So,
all right.
Right on, Hawk. So how is, okay, never mind then. I had two things to say and you agree with them. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Also, on Thursday is Bundy's court appearance here in Vegas. There's supposed to be a rally out there. I think it's at the Federal Building. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get out there. And it's sometimes his appearance is between 1 and 3 o'clock that afternoon. I'm going to try and get out there and get some footage for you. Over. And thanks for the call.
No problem. No problem, Jerry. Thanks a lot. All right. Anyway, I'm not
getting his point either, but...
Well, there's been this thing going on that this was all made up. LaBoy wasn't even a real person and all that. He's been a little bit pushing that in our chat room, saying he's on the fence about it, but, I'm not biting on that.
You got to be kidding me. How silly is that?
Yeah, I like Jerry, but he kind of reads too much into too many things.
Well, I thought I understood what he's talking about, but then he lost me. But all I seen tracks. They were stuck. He jumped out in the snow. I don't see any editing there, but you did point out that they did edit the first one where he was already taking a few steps, and the one we just seen tonight, he was just getting out of the truck. That's when the first shot went off. And that was important that you pointed that out.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's like, I can go back and, okay, for the folks that are watching, let's just do this real fast. I'll leave my commentary in here because, if we look at this drone footage, all right, so we're looking at the truck zipping up the road.
He jumped out of the car. He did it because when this is all over, you'll see that they backed his ass out of that truck too. All right, so now they're shooting down the road at a rather high rate of speed. This already clearly proving that the McConnell report, the McConnell guy, his report was 100% bullshit and a lie, and I've already checked it out. He was FBI and he was implanted in there. How the hell?
Yeah, and I still, at this point, I agree again. FBI.
All right, so now we're heading down roads, and he comes around a corner and at a high rate of speed. And I'm going to back up a second because this does need to be back. Females in the truck. They say Ryan Payne jumped out.
Maybe I was wrong. When we get down to the frame by frame.
When this is all over, you'll see that they backed
I guess I was wrong.
All right, so
I didn't see this because it was going too fast, and I didn't do it frame by frame. And it was there, but I'm still wondering why that drone, whatever it was,
his report was 100% bullshit.
Kept losing its target. And then it kept flying into the freaking trees.
How the hell he ended up?
Yeah, it did.
I don't know. All right, so
here comes the truck around the corner,
and he comes around the corner,
and he's he's obviously trying to miss
Back up a second because
and not do a head-on with a bunch of vehicles. He couldn't have gone down this side because that was an off-sided embankment. But it literally, to me, looked like it was like, bam, all of a sudden he's out of his truck. Now, I go to frame by frame. I guess I was wrong. But still.
As you see here.
But still, regardless of what I missed there, we see this right here. And we have Oregon State Police trying to use a taser wand to bring him down. All right. In that piece of video. You know, I whether he was reaching for something, I don't know. You know what? I got to say this, folks. The minute he stepped out of his truck, they started shooting at him. He had two women in his truck that he was trying to get the focus off of. And, you know, what is that word in the military? You know, confidence is high or confidence is low. But the adrenaline was high right now. People don't respond to commands. All they hear is, ouch, that hurts. What the hell's going on? And they start moving.
Again. This guy has already shot, right?
This guy takes a shot.
Once, caught him in the hip or in the side. Probably exactly.
And I said, caught him in the hip or in the side, and we just looked at the autopsy, which tells us that they caught him exactly where I said.
Exactly where they wanted to catch him, because if you get caught with, say, a 223, that is not a hollow point bullet. What it does is it enters and exits, but it hurts like a son of a bitch. And it's hot, so you don't feel it quite exactly at first. It kind of feels like,
because this is the moment of the audio that we heard on Shauna Cox of the bang 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 1 2 3. You know, we see a body reacting as it could. Plus, he's getting tasered by this guy with a taser wand. And I don't know if this guy let loose on his sidearm, but he has his sidearm right there.
Yeah, and right after he went down, you can see on even the originals. I have a good high definition here, and you can see the lasers all over him.
Oh yeah, and there's
on the truck.
Yes, and on the truck as well.
Mm-hmm.
Making his hand go to his left side. Lemoyne Finicum carried his firearm on his right. Even if he had a 9mm, he would not have it in his left pocket. It would have either been in his belt or in his right pocket, because he was right-handed. So already the FBI narrative is total bullshit. Right, so next, a few more seconds, that man shoots him in the back. This man,
all right, this is where I made my mistake. I thought he shot LaVoy, but it was not him that shot LaVoy. But as I go on, I want you to see something else that I discovered. This is a taser wand right here. It's a taser wand, and he has a sidearm. The people that shot LaVoy came from all back in here. We can't see them. But I want you guys to see. This guy goes, holy shit, drops his taser wand, and takes off running in this direction because they have broken the rules of engagement and have put other officers in danger by putting them in a crossfire. So, watch.
right here. I'd like to know his name. I hope something really bad happens to him someday. Hopefully really soon. Even Viagra won't even help him. Another bullet, second bullet, when he's down. This man is still firing, actually, because we saw recoil. He backs off, back up into the trees. Now they're all backed off. He's down. Now here's the next thing that's crazy. All right, according to Victoria, they're all now on the floorboards, which I would be too. I'd be scared to death. I mean, this looks like something you would see on a thriller movie of something that would happen in freaking Afghanistan. I mean, why can't these people do this to terrorists, to actual terrorists in the United States?
Are you muted out, Hawk?
I'm going to show you something else I think you really need to see. I'm going to go way up in this video because we just, an article came out today about a federal officer that is under criminal investigation along with 4 others or maybe 5 others for after he was shot, misconduct. So, they keep trying to say it was because of the couple of bullets that hit the window the minute LaVoy jumped out. But if you pay really close attention to the charge and article, it keeps saying about after the shooting. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be 5 or 6. I don't know. Maybe it's one guy with 3 legs. I don't know. Back us up a bit. All right, somebody tried to say they threw a gun. That's his hat. That's LaVoy's hat. They threw the hat off his head. This guy, LaVoy was still alive. Those were not lethal hits. This guy has a knee on a shoulder and an arm. You got this guy coming up right here. All right, so he has, I don't know what this is, but it's a short kind of rifle. And I'm going to back this up. I want you to see the recoil very clearly on 2 shots to his head. One, 2. You saw the 2 recoils. Now we have 5 federal officers under investigation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they're trying to say it's over the hits on the door. I'm not biting. This is this right here. What we just saw. What I just showed you. Here he comes. What I'm showing you right now is what I think that federal investigation is going down for.
What else is strange, Hawk, is that they set up that roadblock and they knew what they were intending to do. They didn't have any medical assistance at all there because they didn't expect anybody to leave that area alive.
No, they didn't.
They would have had medical trucks there around the corner, very close by, but they knew. They knew exactly what they were doing and what they wanted to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I reported and I told all of the militia guys, nobody would pay any goddamn attention to me, and it was pissing me off. I told all the militia guys that these guys landed in Boise and headed out of Boise in 2 buses with a truckload of snowmobiles. Damn near 4 or 5 days before this. This was all set up and put together, and nobody would pay attention to me whatsoever. They're going, oh, okay, Hawk, cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, I reported that, and I done it on our own channel, etc. But, no one would pay any kind of attention, and it was really pissing me off. I could see this setup going down when they started bringing these guys in. They flew them into Portland, and then I saw on FlightAware the 2 planes fly into Boise. I sent somebody out to the Boise airport that reported that a whole bunch of SWAT-looking guys got off airplanes. They got in buses and took off, and two short buses, and with a car carrier kind of semi. Loaded with snowmobiles. Area code 229. You're on the air. Who dat? Where you at? What's up?
Hi, this is Dave. I'm in South Georgia. How are you tonight?
Pissed off. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I've been, ever since I saw this afternoon, I've just been so ticked off I could spit, if you know what I mean. And I'm sitting here watching the video, and obviously, talking to you now, there's a delay, but I wanted something. I'm looking at a view of the top of the truck where it went into the snow and Lavoie's down on the ground, and you said that, the guy with the taser, he moved around to get out of the way. I agree with you, and if you step forward just a couple of frames, you'll see the guy that was standing behind Lavoie's truck back off into onto the road, and there are 3 or 4 other guys back there at the pickup truck, and they've all got their sidearms drawn. You can see it, and as the drone goes around, and it's only a couple of frames there, but you can see every one of them guys has got their pistols out, and and it kind of goes along with the audio of some of the shots being fired, because you can clearly see them at the back end of that. It's a dark pickup truck that's sitting there, and a couple of guys come out from around behind the pickup truck, but they all start shooting. It looks like they're shooting at Lavoie while he's on the ground.
Well, yeah, and we can see they, and as I just said, they come up and put a couple of rounds into his head. Because he wasn't dead, I don't think. Because his position changed a couple of times over the... he was hit and he was hurt, but his position changed over a couple of minutes. So they went over there and put his lights out, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I agree with you. And one of the things that I was reflected on as you say this, and I want to say that Shauna said in one of her earlier interviews about Victoria wanting to go over and give him attention because she had been trained or is trained.
Right.
Well, yeah, she kept screaming, "I'm an EMT."
They wouldn't allow her to do that, and I think that they said, don't quote me, but that they saw movement at that time. The girls did.
Well, Victoria kept saying, "I'm an EMT. Let me help him. Let me help him."
Right. So that's kind of sort of what I mean. I agree with you. I think that he was still alive then too. This is
according to according to the autopsy and where the shots were taken, they were not. I don't think if they were 223 or even 5.62 or larger, and I don't think they would have been larger. I think it would have been 223 or 7.62 rounds or whatever they were shooting. But they're not using hollow points, so I do not think those were immediate lethal rounds that they put into him. All of which were in his back, of course. But you look at the points. Now, sometimes those rounds, when they hit you, they'll turn corners, depending on if they hit bone. So I don't know if that one that hit near his neck or at his upper shoulder may have deflected and went into his spinal column and dropped him there. I don't know. This is all supposition. And we're still waiting for Lynette Finicum, or Lynette, I'm not sure which. I know she had a private autopsy done, but why hasn't that been released? Because that would answer one hell of a lot of questions.
Yeah, and something in watching this as you replayed it just before I called you, there was something that one of the FBI or they said in the press release this afternoon, and about how much time he had before the curve and et cetera, and that there was a car behind, et cetera. That's a lie, because if you look, when he came around that corner, he didn't have much choice. And they were trying to make it sound like, oh, he had 3 football fields of clear space where he could have slowed down because the cop behind him slowed down. Well, that's because they knew they were supposed to stop. And Lavoie didn't, but you can clearly see that as he comes around that last curve, he doesn't have 3 football fields of vision before he has to make a decision. That's BS.
Yeah, quite clearly. We just keep seeing more and more lies. Everything about our government is one lie after another. I just my frustration at this point is so intense. I don't even know what to do. I just feel, like I said earlier, I feel completely impotent to do a damn thing about this. Unless we can get some people to actually get on the ball, hell, we can't even get listeners to pay any attention. We don't even get the numbers of people that even look at what we're doing. I think we're less than 100 right now. I mean, quite honestly, who the hell cares? I mean, I care. 100 people care, but what the hell's 100 people going to do? We live in a country of over 250 million people.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you've got...
I've been this for a bunch of years that, I'm 63 this year, and I'll tell you what, I thought back in the 70s that, okay, the government and everything, man, it just went downhill. I remember watching Jack Ruby shoot Lee Harvey Oswald on TV in Dallas that Sunday morning before I went to church, and ever since then I haven't believed a damn word them folks tell me, or try to put across. And but watching this, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and I don't have an answer, but it's just really curious, the PSYOP and everything that they love to play on us, this is so blatant of some of the things that they said in the press release versus what you can actually see. It almost makes me wonder, what the hell are you guys up to? What is this PSYOPs for? You know what I'm saying? It's way too weird. The guys that were standing there trying to explain, that one bald guy, he looked so uncomfortable. It was like somebody had a gun to his back and that he had to say it. It didn't look right. I mean, talk about being staged. Those folks were uncomfortable, in my opinion.
All right. I have some people asking me some questions in the chat. All right, listen. I post all news and text links in my Facebook. I don't do a lot of time doing, reading of the news from other websites on the live stream. It kind of wears my brain out. But just go to my Facebook, NNITEHAWKK. I put every text link of every news I can find. I don't put them up immediately. I'll usually go read them and make sure they aren't like theonion.com or something. Wow, we just had a couple more callers. Drop Anchor there, 229, and hang out with us here for a second. Let's see. Next caller in line is area code 774. You're on there. Who dat? Where you at? What you got to say?
What's cracking, Hawk?
What's cracking? Apparently a whole bunch of freaking mortars and 223s and whatever.
One thing I wanted to call and mention is, since following this thing, I've been trying to figure out if that guy behind Lavoie was carrying a taser, because if he had been carrying a taser, and he was the one that shot him when you noticed Lavoie just drop, I figured that was the taser, right? And then I think in the press conference today, they said the taser missed him. So they had to say that, because if that taser had hit him, then he would have been contained. Then all the shots after that would have been murder, Well,
right, you're right. And you can actually see his reaction from that taser, too.
Did they say that the taser missed him in the press conference today?
You know what? They were really vague about all that, but if you look at I swear to God, if you look at the video, the guy with the taser drops the taser and runs because they put him in a freaking crossfire.
He was, yeah, exactly. But he was still pumping electricity into him, and then he dropped. Yeah, exactly. He dropped because you could see him hold that position, and he had to hold that position to pump electricity into him. So once the firing started, he had to move away and drop it. So there was crossfire. So they had him contained.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know that. I know that. You know that. We can see that pretty clearly. But,
But I think they said in that press conference they missed him.
Well, of course they did. But I don't know. It don't look like it missed him to me.
Doesn't look like it missed him to me either.
He reacted very clearly to me. He did have a pretty thick jacket on. So, that taser wand, I'm familiar. I went and looked around on Google for taser, firing taser wands.
Yeah.
The spikes, and I found one that's actually designed for bringing down big game. And it would have given him a heart attack, quite honestly. The question now is, did he die of a heart attack when he got hit by the thing? Because it's like 275,000 volts.
Right.
It's
in that press conference.
Yeah.
In the press conference, they kept on saying less than lethal, less than lethal, less than lethal. They kept on saying it.
Well, when I watched the Shona Cox video, I don't see, they're all not dead, but I don't see a whole lot of less than lethal. I see them trying to force them out of that truck with CS gas so they can shoot them.
There was no shots fired out of that truck. I can't believe they riddled that truck as much as they did. Even with them screaming, stop. And you can hear the girls. If you're those guys, how could you not stop shooting after hearing two girls screaming?
Yeah, or just stop, or white flag, or whatever. It's just they kept going and going and going and going. As soon as they shot, as soon as Lavoie was down, it was like bang, 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 I couldn't. I tried to count, but I got to a point where it was somewhere around 70 something. So 8 shots my ass.
Yeah, they said that there were 3 shots fired as he came around the curve before he even really got to the snowbank. They were saying one of the shots was fired from way down. You know, they were trying to shoot the windshield or something.
Yeah, exactly. And who was that
And if
retard?
those 3 shots count, what about all the other ones? These guys really can't count.
Yeah, and who was the retard that jumped out in front of the truck?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, really? Is that what you do? All right, people that are watching the live stream, I can wind this back a little bit again. We're looking at, did Lavoie have any other choice but to go off the road? We have 1, 2, 3 vehicles completely blocking the road. I sent Sherry out. She got me video of this. This side of the road here is a 30-degree bank down off of that mountain. This side is about a 16-degree bank, so not so bad. But he come around the corner. There was no way to break that snowbank, and I see nothing. I see nothing but somebody trying to avoid a head-on collision with another vehicle, and then this stupid shit jumps out in front of the vehicle and starts shooting. And we hear Shauna goes, "All right, they're shooting at us." And the boy's going, "Hang on, hang on, hang on." There was no way around this. He was avoiding crashing into these 3 vehicles. This was an L-shaped kill box. You're not going to tell me anything else. They're lying to you, people. 100%. Come get me. Drive into my driveway and come get me for telling the truth. You fucking asshole FBI fucktards, because you're lying. I am getting to the point that that Oregon State Police, who are, I have some statements that I can't verify yet, that the Oregon State Police, the guy that came down with the taser, is pissed as hell at FBI for putting him in a crossfire situation in which he could have gotten shot.
Really?
And that was the entire reason that there is a criminal investigation going on against 5 FBI officers. So anyway, all right, we got a couple of new callers. Everybody drop anchor and stand by, because when new callers come in, I like to at least introduce them. Area code 406, you're on the air. Who dat, where you at?
Hey, I'm in Montana.
How you doing? You got some background noise. If you're listening to the live stream, please turn it off so it doesn't bleed through. Thanks.
I'm not. I'm just on the cell phone.
All right, you're good to go. Who dat, where you at? What's up?
Well, I want to know how anybody can watch that video they released today and look people in the eye and say that how any part of that was justifiable.
Well, who could?
Exactly. I mean, I don't. Where are they trying to go by releasing that?
It's a warning. I still think it's all about it being a warning.
Hey, am I on the air?
Yeah, you're out of turn, but you're on the air. Who that, where you at?
I apologize, man. My name is Steve. Actually, my name is American Life 702, and I'm in your chat all the time. There are people who. I apologize for being out of turn, though. But there are people who will justify it, and I've seen that myself on YouTube earlier. It was Chaos Archives or something like that, and there's people saying, even the dude himself was like, well, I think Lavoie wanted to die. Bullshit. Come on, man. Have you ever seen his family? He didn't want to die. Have you ever seen his videos or his what he said in front of the resource center? I don't call it a refuge. I call it the Howard County Resource Center. He didn't want to die. That's bullshit. It was, oh, and I apologize for my language too. I should clean it up. He was ready to die for what we all want, the constitutional rule of law. That's what the issue is here. It's the same issue with Cliven Bundy, Lavoy Finicum. Many people is a constitutional rule of law, the restoration of it. And a revolution is a great thing, but we don't need a revolution here. We need a restoration. And I'm not going to act like I just
you know what? I have to agree with you. It's not a revolution, it's a restoration. A restoration of our rights.
I'm not going to act like I'm the guy that came up with that. Bill Cooper said that. It was a video I watched earlier, and he was absolutely right. And Bill Cooper was murdered for speaking the truth, the same as Lavoy Finicum.
Well, we all need to decide, the next course of action. We got to watch, Occupy was, I don't have enough, you got more, and I want half of your shit because you got more stuff than I do. What we need to do, in my opinion now, we had a rally on March 5th. These rallies need to get bigger, so people are paying attention. I put together a site called OperationAmericanSpring.us, and it's the 2.0 version. Get in there and use it, especially the forum. I'm still working on the news part, but get in there and use it. Please. If you have a rally going on, a protest, or anything, get in there and use it. Let us know so we can get people to the site, okay?
Hey, I'm with that, Hawk. That's the shit right there. God damn. All right, I got to clean up my language, but I'm with you on that. That's great, man. Operation American Spring. I've seen it before, and it didn't work real well. That doesn't mean it won't work now. For me, I'm not actually trying to go on a website and do that. I live in Las Vegas, and what I'm going to do is just go out to the Bundy Ranch, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to hope that the place doesn't come under attack, because it's a real possibility right now, and that family is out there. I don't think they're actually by themselves, but I don't know how many people are actually out there. But like last night on your cast, and I said that I would go out to the Finicum Ranch. Well, I would love to, man, but the Bundy Ranch is way closer, and they're actually facing the same exact thing.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? So that's my local neighborhood, and that's where I'll go.
Well, that's cool. What I'm trying to say, excuse me, what I was trying to say about that is Jeanette Finicum has no help. She's out there all on her own, and that kind of upset me that her sheriff just basically told her to, fuck off. Excuse my language, but that's just basically how that went down. And I got pretty upset about all that last night because of the sheriff's response. But changes need to be made. And yeah, Operation American Spring was done once, but it was commercialized. I'm not commercializing this. You will not find an ad on my site whatsoever. And I will never put an ad on that site whatsoever, ever. This is about getting something done. Okay?
Absolutely. The thing that the way I would differentiate between Operation American Spring and Operation Arab Spring was that the Arab Spring was actually funded by us, by all of us, and it was meant obviously to create ISIS and to create the huge migrant wave into Europe and to destabilize the
that's
whole
fine.
region.
That's fine. But there were some lessons to be learned there on how to use social media to your benefit instead of going, "Oh, I'm scared of social media." That's the point I'm trying to make right now.
I agree with you, man. You're right. And the fact is, the Bundy Ranch never would have happened without social media. So you guys that have your live streams out here are actually doing a huge part. And I don't care what anybody says about that. You're doing a huge part, whether you have 60 listeners or 60,000. You're reaching people, and that's how Bundy Ranch happened. And that's why we see CISPA and all of these other, whatever they're called, whatever acronym they have, to censor the internet, to censor social media, and dissenting points of view. That's why they do that, because we're gaining strength as American patriots, and it's not just American patriots who are gaining strength. There's people all over the world who, through knowledge, are gaining strength against what's actually going on. And I don't know. The mainstream news just doesn't say nothing about that. Nothing.
Yeah, and it's really time to do the work. I have a new tagline. It's called, it's all fine to be awake, but you got to get out of bed. And I've noticed, today Anonymous picked that up, and they're starting to tagline that. So. I got a lot of really weird background noise coming from you, 702. But anyway, I need to move to the next. Yeah, I need to move to the next caller. Thank you for calling in, dude.
Well, thank you, man. Hey, I had these headphones on with a little mic on them, so that was probably your background noise, and it's windy here.
All right, no problem. All right, if you want, well, your background noise disappeared. So if you want to drop anchor and just hang up. Or hang on.
For sure, man. I'll listen in. Hey, I'm going to listen in anyway, whether I'm on the line or not.
All right. So, area code 480. You're on the air. Who dat? Where you at? What's up?
Hey, how you doing? My name's Brian. I'm calling from Phoenix. I'm a first-time caller, and I just want to say, like everybody else, that I really appreciate what you're doing. And I've been meaning to say this. I've been meaning to call in. My first thought right after Lavoie was murdered, my first thought was I noticed a correlation between him and Vicki Weaver, and I had an opportunity to meet Randy after the court case and all that. It was in Nevada at a ski area, and had a little convention, and I really don't know what I'm talking about, but that was just my sense, is that Vicky was assassinated for a specific reason, and maybe Lavoie was targeted for assassination, or maybe they meant to kill them all. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
The FBI and the federal government has a long record of assassination. And a long record of murdering people offhand. We have seen court case after congressional court case go on. We can talk about what you want to talk about. We can talk about Oklahoma City. We can talk about Ruby Ridge. We can talk about what all the business that went down in Texas.
Waco.
Waco. So, they keep failing, and they're incapable of covering up their lies. So it just seems to become, when it comes to the federal government, they don't care about covering up their lies. All they care about is giving you a message of stop messing with us. Just today, I was reading an article. I'm not sure how legitimate it is, unless a school teacher calls me somewhere and says, well, this is right. I cannot verify the legitimacy of what I'm getting ready to say. But according to an article I just read today, across the country, teachers are being told that if they have students that ask things or talk about things opposing the U.S. government in different ways, this and that, or protesting the U.S. government this way and that way or whatever, to even ask questions, they have a site in which the teachers are supposed to report these students. Now, I don't know if that's true, because it's on, just because it's on a website doesn't make it truth. But it just, and when I think about this, I go, well, this kind of seems like a tactic that might be used. So, what do you think about that?
Can I respond? Air code 702.
Yeah, anybody can respond.
Yeah, well, what I would have to say about that is that that's the Soviet way. It was like that in the Soviet Union. You couldn't trust anyone because everyone was a potential snitch, and that's actually the way it's become here now. Even within the Patriot community, everybody's looking at Mark McConnell. I don't know about Mark McConnell. I've never met him. I have met quite a few of these people that we all talk about. And as far as Mark McConnell, I've never met him. And it sure looks like he's a rat, dude, from circumstantial evidence. But until I see fucking paperwork on the dude, sorry, I keep cussing.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
I'm not going to believe that he's a rat.
Well, yeah, I don't, nobody wants to believe anybody's a rat, but, here's my thing.
I don't even know why I went that way.
All right, here's my thing. When we talk about Mark McConnell, here's my thing. Regardless of any part of anything he said, he kept saying HRT, HRT, HRT. He wasn't even there. How the hell did he know that HRT was there? Because that is an elite group. That is my rub on this entire thing. What's up, Terry? We got 4 people here now, so everybody just kind of go on. Hey, Terry, how you doing? And I need to go to the bathroom, you guys. I've been sitting here for 3 hours. Hold on.
I just did.
I'm doing fine. I believe the gentleman that was in the crossfire probably hit the deck because they were fired upon him, so they could say that, yep, they were fired, Lavoie and the group were fired, killed him.
Well, not only that, hi, Lady Horse, Jerry B. here.
Yeah.
Not only that, the other thing that got me about McDonald, I don't know if he's a good guy or bad guy, who knows, but you just look at what's out there and you just try to take it all in and you try to make a decision on some critical thinking. Now, I have to wonder to myself, she was very straightforward when she says he was very rude to her in the van. Why would he be after what she'd been through?
Right.
I have no answer for it. Unless she screwed something up that he was trying to do, I don't know.
What I would say is that it was a stressful situation, and I'm not an apologist for this guy. I mean, I actually kind of believe that he's an informant. There's just some men that I respect who are now arrested who said that they think he is, and I tend to, because I respect those men, I agree with them. However, those feds, this is a tactic that they will use, and this is really my point actually in bringing up McConnell, was that they meant to let that guy out just to make us all ask a bunch of questions about him. You know what I mean? To focus on that guy rather than something else. And, seriously, I believe that he probably was up to no good.
Well, I don't know, but I know that there wasn't any rounds.
I won't know it. What's that?
They didn't shoot any rounds into the Jeep where he was driving.
Didn't. No, they didn't. And you know what? It really looks like it. It really looks like it. But I want to put it out there for everyone to consider that they may have let this guy go just so that we all ask questions about him rather than thinking about something else. And that guy, you know, everything comes out in the wash. He's gonna there will be paperwork on him if it turns out that he was a
Now he's the gentleman that was.
snitch or whatever.
I think it's amazing that with all those rounds that went into that truck, and you could hear them all on the videos. I mean, there was a lot. I'm surprised that there was only one that actually hit one of the people in the truck, because there was a lot of rounds going into that truck.
There's a lot of rounds. It's that video that prompted me to call in tonight. Usually I just listen. But Ryan Bundy, he said that he wasn't bleeding from the shot that he took. So what was it? Was it a rubber bullet? Was it a beanbag? Was it a jacketed hollow point? We don't know. In fact, I'm actually going to send him a letter and ask him.
Ryan actually took a 223 into his shoulder. They left the bullet where it is because they said it would have caused more damage to remove it.
By the way, Hawk, while you're here, I can still remember, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but you brought in a video the other day on one of your videos you brought up on the World Trade Center. I thought that was an amazing piece of footage there with the explosion in the second building and without any plane anywhere around. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, that
was amazing.
Yeah, that was a little...
Building 10?
That was kind of befuddling to me too.
I thought I'd seen them all too, but I'd never seen that angle.
No, I've not seen it either. And every time it's gone up on YouTube, it's gotten deleted. And I just went up and tried to find it yesterday because I was trying to build, I'm trying to do my own 9/11 rebuild from, because my history with 9/11 and what I was doing there. And I've been trying to do... And that stupid video that everybody was giving me was deleted that fast. I ran it, and it's on my channel, but, the actual video itself is gone again.
Yeah, you said you had a grainy one at first, but then you got a nice clean one. That last one was clean.
Yeah, and it was clean. I don't know what we're going to do. What are we going to do?
I know what I'm going to do.
Stand and not back down.
Well, it's going to take more than a few of us.
I know.
I mean, it's like, when one bee stings you, you go, well, shit, that sucks, and you slap it. But, when the entire hive goes after your ass, that's a whole different story. And, how do we activate the hive?
Well, maybe this is why they're so afraid of Trump, because, he wrote an article that got put in the newspaper in Nevada the day before the elections there. And it was all about how the federal government, the BML, is overreaching in the land grab and everything. It was a very good article. And the Bundys were
actually, I have that article if somebody wants to read it. I'm not really good at reading articles.
But it didn't even get mainstream attention, as far as the mainstream. I mean, that was an awesome article.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't get mainstream attention, man. It's counter to the mainstream view.
Right.
Anything that has to do with this Americans standing up against this, it's not just this administration, it's this government, this tyrannical government. It doesn't get play on the mainstream. You got to look at people like Hawk, and they're I'm not going to mention anybody else's names. I'm not trying to plug nobody, but I mean, there's other people out there doing the same thing. In many cases, not quite as well as Hawk is doing, but that's the answer that I could give you, is that it doesn't fit into the mainstream view of the way people are supposed to look at things, and so they don't cover it.
Can I interject something here?
Go ahead.
It's a round table. Interject all you want.
Yeah, okay. One of the things that I'd like is that there are a lot of people I know of around, and they don't listen to the radio that will guarantee that for my listening of one person, I know 10 people who aren't, and they might not be participating directly, but these folks are ready. Now, I'm from the South, and the Southerners have told me, and I with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, but they're right. They said, you know, we learned a lot in the last revolution. Us Southerners are going to keep our head down.
I'll be a son of a gun. Page not found, 404. We are sorry, the page you're looking for does not exist. Feel free to search through our site or view other.
Are you kidding?
I am not kidding. I'm going to try it one more time. I'll see if I.
It's not there.
Oh no, I got 404 too. So.
Son of a. Behave.
Well, at least we got to see Cruz eat his booger on live TV.
Oh, gross. I thought I missed that one.
Over and over again, close up.
Oh my God! How embarrassing is that? Yeah, it was an excellent article. He spoke directly about the BML and the Bundys and the Hammonds, the overreach of the federal government taking land for ranchers so they couldn't, and farmers and people who wanted to mine. It was an excellent article. But the only Trump and Rand Paul are the only two people that would have spoken up against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That right there told me a lot. When I went to vote today, I kept that in my mind real strong, because if we turn this country over to the United Nations, we might as well we won't need a fence. We won't need anything. We won't have a country.
No, we won't.
We can't afford to have some other group of people all over the world, whoever they be, run this country. We're already getting a taste of it right now.
That's kind of why I like Trump. I think he is a kind of a blowhard entertainer. But it's like trying to pick the cleanest turd out of the bucket.
Absolutely. And there's another thing about him too. He doesn't need my money. He doesn't need it. He's got plenty of money. He doesn't need to be president, okay? But if he or somebody like him doesn't come up and take control of this runaway train, everything that he's ever built is going to go away, and he knows that. He's not a fool. People can't go to his casinos and gamble and pay his people if they don't have a job. It's like he said in the speech here in Warren, Michigan. We're going to get these jobs back here, manufacturing jobs back in the country. He says we may not get them all back in Michigan, but we're going to try. But at least get them back in the country.
Right. Well, didn't he just pull one out of Mexico and bring it back?
Well, that $2.2 billion job there that Ford wants to take down there is something that he's constantly talking about, and they're listening too.
Right.
Believe me, they're listening, and so is Carrier, 1,400 jobs. They're listening too.
Well, it appears that the way he's going to pay for that wall and make Mexico pay for it, I might be wrong, but by tariffing and taxing American corporations working in Mexico.
58 billion. We're losing 58 billion a year in Mexico. We get nothing in return. Losing 528 billion in China. We get nothing in return except for food that's contaminated and contaminated flu shots and whatever. He's right on the money, but like he says, you can either do business here and let people earn a wage that they can have a decent standard of living. We can tax you 35% tariff. It's up to you guys. Yeah, one man can't do that, but he can set it in motion.
All
The
right,
president,
yeah, and we're not going to get a lot of people that agree with everything that Trump says, but I mean, what are our other choices?
exactly. And like I said, if he would do a quarter of what he said he's going to do, I'd be happy. Because let's face it, every year it gets worse and worse and worse and
Yeah,
worse, and they just keep tightening the reins.
I hope he stays in the race and so we can vote for him. But if it doesn't, then we got a big choice of Dumb and Dumber again this year.
Yeah,
Well,
we got.
We don't have any other choice right now.
I know.
Yeah, our other choices are Rubio. If you're a Republican, and the other guy whose name is I'm losing.
Cruz.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing with Cruz. This is my thing with Cruz. We have listened to the GOP bitch, moan, and cry about whether, Obama was a natural-born citizen, but it's pretty damned obvious that Cruz isn't a natural-born citizen. Why is that question not bubbling up to the top?
Well, Obama has got away with it.
Well, there's people that will defend him devoutly, and I like Cruz too. I like some stuff about him. What I don't like is that his wife is a member of Goldman Sachs, and they have something to do with the CFR too. I think I don't know exactly what it is, but I mean, come on, man. How are you gonna ask for a guy to solve our problems when his wife is a part of our problems?
Well, he's tied at the hip with Goldman Sachs too, and he got loans for them to run. I mean, they're all tied, like Trump says, they're all bought. But here's the thing with somebody like Cruz. He's done a lot of good things. But here's what you got to look at. When the things that come that really matter, like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP, he didn't show up. Okay? He didn't show up to vote. Now, he talked about it and everything. The only things he votes on are the things where they can't win. He shows his vote. But when his vote could win, he doesn't show up. And see, that showed me a lot. It showed me a lot. For somebody to go out there and say that the doctor there, Carson, that he's not going to run, he quit, and go out there and tell everybody that. Come on, guys. I realize politics is a rough game, but give me a break.
Hawk, can I please say something real quick? And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for taking my call, Hawk. This is John Wayne. Wow, the release of this video, I want to jump back into that real quick, and I'll let you guys get back into talking the politics. But very concerned with the release of this video because it's very inexplicably timed with the release of the FBI document saying that they had just cause for this shooting, so to say. This is very disturbing because the first thing it does is it hits...
All right, hold on. It was Ohio State Police. Give me a second. It was Ohio State, or excuse me, not Ohio.
Oregon.
Oregon State Police said that their shots were justified. So whether that makes a difference or not, that is kind of important.
Okay. With the release of this video, we all know what Facebook is. It's a system for, collecting data for, situations such as this to see how the populace respond and how they react to said situation. I don't want to say this, but my God, they're pushing for a damn civil war. And is this going to be the prelude to them pulling a bigger attack, a terrorist attack, on a federal building, like the Mira Federal Building in Oklahoma City? That's my number one thing. When I saw this come out today, that's the very first thing that came up in my mind. And then the second thing is that if they cannot get that accomplished, God behold, and make sure that it doesn't happen. But how about them saying, when Daddy Bush was up there during that Republican debate, giving Trump the slit throat, motion, who's to say that they don't try to do something to him to just make this country go absolutely, completely apeshit?
I agree.
Any of those things are possible.
Who's to say that Trump is not the next Ross Perot? Is what my big fear is about him, because I like Trump, man, and I want to believe in him. He's a blowhard, he's a jerk, whatever. Great. Those may be great for a president.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why he's not the next Ross Perot. It's a very simple reason. He has made enemies of everybody he does business with if he doesn't make president. He's made a lot of enemies by running for president, and he knows that. He has a lot to lose in this if he doesn't win. A whole lot.
You may be right, man, and I hope you're right. However, so did Ross
That was
Perot.
my first impression, too. What if it's another Ross Perot? It's not. He's way beyond that point.
That's my biggest fear with him, and seriously, I didn't actually call to talk about politics either, and I'm glad this man brought it back into the center. Is Lavoy Finicum was murdered. I think that's really what I call to talk about in the state of our nation, not just politics, not presidential politics, because I hope Trump wins. That's really all I have to say about presidential politics.
For me,
and my first choice was Rand Paul.
It's coming up to a grand crescendo. The curtain is going to fall. And my God, I pray, literally I pray, that any of this doesn't result in any form of bloodshed from anybody, any Americans. But the thing is, where do we start? I see, let's say, the protests during the 1960s against the Vietnam War, the flower power, flower children, the hippies. And then look at the, what do you want to call it? Let's say Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the Million Man March for civil rights. We need to have a peaceful gathering in a massive form of numbers to make a point that we are tired of this. The country, I heard you guys talking here a little bit ago, and you're saying, how about the United Nations? Okay, well, we've already been absorbed into the United Nations. And with that being said, we're doing their bidding. Even over in the Middle East, over in Ukraine, we are literally doing their bidding. And I don't want to see any young men's lives or women's lives put in danger for any of these nasty, disgusting reasons that we go to these other countries. There's no reason to even be in any of these damn countries. What happened to that?
Well, yeah, definitely. Can everybody hold up a minute? Because all the listeners, I want you to see this. This is an interview that me and Sherry did with Lavoy. I don't know how many days before, but it's an important interview to get a grip on who this man was. I'm going to run this, and then I'll stop it when it's done, because right after that we go, with an interview with Eamon. But, this whole show is about government overreach and the murder of an American citizen for no reason. So, everybody just drop anchor, hang tight.
Let's start a dialogue. Let's actually sit down face to face and begin this.
You have tried. She has shut you down. Is there anything that you think you can offer, anything new to her to make her start this dialogue?
Well, you have tried. We have to talk. We have to talk. We've heard that she has some real concerns and claims, and so every voice needs to be heard. Mm-hmm. But it can't be heard unless we sit down and talk. Mm-hmm. And make it. First of all, let it be known that we want these things preserved and in the right hands, which I believe is their hands. Mm-hmm.
she's made some claims that y'all are tearing up the plants and things like that. Does she have any basis for that?
No. I mean, you've been around here. We're not tearing up anything. Yeah. So that's unfounded, unfortunately. It's hard sometimes to really understand what's going. But when you come here, it's easier to see. And so we invite a representative to come here and to.
Hello, hey, I can't hear nothing right now, man. I'm gonna get off the phone and listen like I usually do. And I really love your show, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do.
All right, thanks. Yeah, there's no way for me to pipe what I'm doing into the call.
Oh, I can't. You just can't hear it if your call is right on. Hey, yeah, man. But for real though, I appreciate what you do, man. So you know, I gave you a little bit of cash yesterday, but I'm going to get off right now.
All right, thank you very much. Just everybody else, just stand by me.
Thank you, too.
So it's working, isn't it?
It is.
This is about as high tech as it gets right here.
What did it used to be? Do you know?
No.
No? Okay.
No. They have no time, so we named it the Media Center. So.
Well, I wanted to ask you about something a little bit more personal. And if I step on your toes, you can always tell me that.
Sure.
We spent some time talking to Blaine, and he was very great about opening up knowing about his kids.
Yes.
Now, I understand that your foster kids have also had the same kind of issues.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, a week ago, last weekend, it's been just over a weekend, they came in and took the poor boys, took them out of the home. I believe it was our licensing agent, she said that, or the CPS, I'm not sure which, my wife has been dealing with, but they said the directive came down from the governor's office. The governor is flatly denying it. But, so you have two different stories going on. The governor saying, no, I never did any such sort of thing. And we have workers that have come to us says this is coming from the governor's office. And so somebody is either misinformed or not being straightforward with it. And I honestly believe that the federal government is putting pressure upon us in every way that they can. I believe that was a ploy to put pressure on us. I wouldn't be surprised if Dwayne Cooper's children were also a target. You go after the most tender places and places you can get. So this is I don't know. Well, I don't know what asymmetrical warfare means, but this means that I think they're coming at all fronts, and that's to be expected, and that's okay. I go back to my boys. They were doing really well. These are extremely the highest level of care. It's a therapeutic foster. I'm not regular foster. This boys are coming out of usually detention centers, some type of institution, and the ranch was a great tool to help bring these boys and reintegrate them into society and help them to function successfully in a family setting. And so the ranch was such a great tool for me to work side by side with them and getting.
What were the age ranges?
Usually they're right there in the.
Now, people on the line with me and callers cannot hear this. People tuned in, can hear this, but this is back in our videos. This is not a violent man.
Okay, you want me to try to run it through my board?
You know what? That's fine. The point I was trying to make was, this is just not a violent dude. There is no violence in this guy. There never was. And it just annoys the piss out of me that they keep trying to make this guy, just seem violent, and he never was. He
Yeah, the whole narrative right from the get-goes are calling them terrorists.
Yeah, at this point, he is a martyr, and they made him a martyr. And that is their own fault.
I have to say this. I just got done watching. I'm gonna start crying, guys. I haven't been home. Excuse me. I hadn't been home until this evening to see this video, and while you guys were running that other video, I sat and I can't. Oh my God, Hawk! Oh, the anger's welling back up in me again. I'm backing off for just a minute.
Yeah, they certainly got the response they were looking for. There's no doubt about that, and it was on purpose. They're trying to incite us.
Yeah, exactly. We were there. We were freaking there. We weren't Peace and Tilly there. I did not pay a whole bunch of money to send people out to places to be activists. I sent people a whole bunch of money to send people out to places to report the story, and we reported the story. And you really got to dig back in our videos. I mean, I've literally been on air anywhere from 2, 3 to 15 hours a day. We have one video. I was on air for 15 hours. So, go dig back into those videos and catch up if you're not already caught up.
What I was talking about is I was watching the Shauna video. I hadn't seen it today.
Oh, okay. You're looking at the show.
Oh my God, Hawk.
Yeah, that is a brain breaker. Area code 6.
I was just on here a few minutes ago to switch to different.
Yeah, area code 641. You're on the air.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
Gotcha.
Okay, right on. Well, Hawk, it's me. This is John Wayne. I mean, I'm concerned. Yeah, but the thing is, I've watched quite a few videos of LaBoy, when he was on his ranch, showing these underground detectors and stuff for monitoring the cattle and so on and so forth. And, this guy was a damn good man, I could tell. He wasn't out to hurt or harm or do anything. He was standing up for our constitutional rights, or in which the constitutional rights that we do have currently are diminishing by the day. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And, like I was saying, I don't know which way to go with this, but we do need to find a way to have massive peaceful protests. But even with that being said, we know just as damn well as what we say right there is that there's going to be government provocateurs within the ranks to try and stir the pot. I don't get how Ferguson, Missouri can almost be razed to the ground because of the gunning of one black teenage male who was a thug, who went out, strong-armed a grocery store owner for a pack of cigars and attacked a police officer, a man of the law. The man had to defend himself. With this video that was released today of LaVoy, he was not a threat. He got out of the vehicle, he had his hands up, and he was responding to them. This is almost, this is them, the federal government, trying to throw the match in the tinderbox to start a civil war before the 2016 elections. This is one of the other only ways that they can stop Donald Trump from winning the elections as president. An actual, honest-to-God election that isn't rigged and already set up for whoever the damn crony is they want to put it in there. They're Chicago mafia politicians. This is a very scary time right now. And
the globalists are spending millions of dollars, like Soros and these people, just to keep people divided and to keep stirring the pot. We know that. People watch silly things like that and they go, "What? What's going on here?" Well, it's called a setup. It's so obvious to us by now, but they just keep doing the same game plan over and over again, hoping that we'll just get crazy enough to go after him.
Yeah, and they're fresh out of, their playbook. It doesn't change. And we're seeing it time and time and time and time again.
It never changes.
Never changes. Never, ever. And now people are waking up and they're able to read between the lines, see what is happening, and, able to figure it out. How many times do you have to be punched in the face before you realize, hey, I'm being punched in the face? Or, and better and all would be, being a child and touching the burner on a stove.
And every single war we've ever been in has been a false flag. It's been proven. They just pull at people's patriotic heart and their heartstrings. Yeah, we got to go over there and show them who's boss. We can't let them beat us up like this. Every single one of them.
You just made an extremely excellent point, because every single war we have been involved in has had a false flag.
Everyone.
From to the USS Liberty, to Pearl Harbor, 9/11. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that's why I'm saying this is what extremely concerns me, is that they are going to perpetrate another attack here in the United States, blame it on militiamen or patriots, constitutionalists, and they're going to do the same thing they did at the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. If they can't get the reaction they want with that to instill martial law, then, by God, I'm telling you, Trump needs to be very extremely careful with everything he does. Extremely careful. Because that is something that would set the American populace off, as divided as we already are. Over.
Well, I think that Trump has a very fine group of people around him protecting him, plus the Secret Service. Plus, I think the military is behind him 100%. He's no fool. Everywhere he goes to speak, he speaks highly of the police officers, the fine job they do, and the military, because he knows there's good people there. Not all of them, but enough of them, and they'll back him. They're watching his back. I'll guarantee you they are.
Absolutely.
He's not going to get JFK because he knows who his enemies are.
Right.
Hey guys, can we hold on? I sent Terry a link to something that I would like read on air. This is Jeanette's response to today's release of the FBI bullshit video.
Jeanette Finicum's response to Oregon State and FBI investigative report, March 8, 2016, St. George, Utah. LaVoy Finicum's wife, Jeanette Finicum, released the statement at a news conference in St. George, Utah. The news conference held earlier today in Bend, Oregon, to release the report of the investigation regarding my husband's death was to be expected. No surprises. The purpose of that announcement was for state and federal agencies to continue to lie the foundation of their legal case. However, they also continue to bring forward selective evidence. As in all such situations, there is another side of this story. We will provide a more thorough analysis at a follow-up news conference tomorrow, and we'll be taking questions at that time. Meanwhile, we continue to maintain my husband's innocence. I gotta scroll down here a minute. According to the news story from Portland, Oregon, officials investigating the death of Robert LaVoy Finicum already released results of the fatal shooting during a January 26 traffic stop while trying to arrest the rancher and others involved in the takeover of an Oregon wildlife refuge. As family, along with our lawyers, we deny this statement. This was not a traffic stop. It was an ambush with a roadblock placed on a blind curve along a lonely stretch of highway. I am told that law enforcement and prosecuting circles, this is called a dead man's block, and is designed to allow a kill stop, which is illegal. The news story continues. The FBI said Finicum was shot for reaching for a gun. We reject that statement. The FBI aerial video was very poor quality, edited, and provided no audio. Our family asserts that he was shot with both hands up. He was not reaching for anything at the time of the first shot. He was walking with his hands in the air, a symbol of surrender. When he reached down to his left hip, he was reacting to the pain of being shot. I can hardly believe that a team of qualified law officers could look at the facts in this case and say that no criminal laws were violated. How could they have reached this decision in the face of evidence that clearly shows intent to kill my husband? We have talked with independent investigator who has stated that the video proves a set-up assassination. Many people, including my lawyers, have tried to prepare me for this. Be strong. Accept this with peace. But I don't think anything could prepare me to accept what was so clearly a finding that challenges the Constitution that my husband died defending. I know that under the Constitution, the men who shot my husband to death while he was surrendering are entitled to due process of law, but they are not entitled to walk free and not have to face the legal process that is a barrier to you and me. They shot my husband. They left him lying in the snowbank. No medical assistance, no charges, no arraignment, no preliminary hearing, no indictment, and no trial by jury. And should they walk free? This is just not right. The consolation I have is that hundreds of thousands of Americans have seen and know the truth and believes, as I do, that my husband was murdered intentionally, deliberately, and with malice. My lawyer has assured me that we will seek justice in a different court, under different circumstances, and I look forward to that day when these men do face jury that is unbiased enough to return a fair verdict. After the Pennington funeral, rallies spontaneously began to organize in many states. The organizers counted possibly as many 300 rallies took place throughout the country, in every state but Rhode Island. It has been asked how this movement got such momentum so quickly. When Americans heard the details of the story and how these American patriots who have no criminal record and who have stood on the same interpretations of the U.S. Constitution as Justice Scalia, I hope I pronounced his name right, have been treated, the actions of law enforcement, the FBI, have shocked the consciousness. Our Supreme Court has set as the standard guidelines for practices of law enforcement that are unacceptable to our society as those that shock the consequence. A dead man block with the intent to kill shocks the consciousness. Shooting to kill with both hands up shocks the conscience. Violating the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment by placing Americans with no criminal records who are apparently guilty of defending the U.S. Constitution and the overreach of federal authorities into solitary confinement and then removing their constitutional right to bear arms are two examples of how elected and appointed officials in our court system, legislative bodies, and law enforcers are violating the Constitution they swear to uphold. The Supreme Court has referred to solitary confinement as being violently insane. The court has recognized that solitary confinement tortures our human brain and diminishes our God-given strength to overcome obstacles. Solitary confinement is a form of torture that often drives prisoners mad. Last year, a Supreme Court justice wrote a concurring opinion that decided the history of solitary confinement and said the practice bears a particular mark of infamy in its ability to shatter the mind and spirits of prisoners. Who are we? We are outraged that men and women who have no criminal records and who posed no threat during the protest in Oregon are being treated as mere animals. The American people are outraged at the inhumanity, this brutal and barbarism by the courts and law enforcement. It has created a new American awakening from both the left and the right. It shocks the consciousness. And that is why around 300 rallies spontaneously organized in support of my husband's assassination and these patriots who are being held political prisoners. And again, my lawyer has assured me that we will seek justice in a different court under different circumstances. We will be commenting on the FBI's and Dutchess County press release tomorrow after we review their findings fully. Thank you, Jeanette Finicum.
All right, so that was Jeanette Finicum's press release today. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
I suck. I really suck at reading stuff.
So do I.
You did way better than I would have done. But anyway, so see the point. See the point, folks.
You know me. I've been mad since the beginning.
You know, I got Jerry, you, 229, and 641 on the air. Do you guys see my point? I mean, talk freely. This is intense.
Well, if I speak, I'll end up crying because I'm so mad. I have been mad since the beginning.
Illegal. It was illegal.
It was absolutely
there needs to be charges pressed against the federal government for the murder of LaVoy Finicum. They need to release all audio tapes within that situation, the aerial drone pilots' audio tapes as well. They need to release all body cameras that were on all the agents.
Hey, let me tell you something. We had some people that submitted FOIA requests for that, and it was denied.
Of course.
We need to see the truck.
Yeah, where's the truck?
Show me the truck. Show me the money. Show me the truck.
Yeah, exactly. But still, all FOIA requests have been denied.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it just says that they're in the wrong, aren't they? It tells me they're in the wrong.
That makes them complicit in the murder of a United States citizen on United States territory. So therefore, they need to be charged. Plain and simple. To the fullest extent of American law.
I hate to bring this up, but we are under the NDAA now. And this is exactly what people were afraid of, because that law says they can pretty much do whatever they want to do whenever they want to.
Well, I think they're just trying to show us if you don't comply, you die.
Right. The government has been infiltrated by foreign people and the globalists, and they're running the show. You know, who are you going to get to stand up for us? That's the key. Who's going to stand up for the people? It's got to be somebody.
But everybody's too damn complacent and not paying attention to what's going on. You know, I mean, quite frankly and literally, everybody's got their face shoved so far into the TV, their phones, their tablets, their devices, and it is a form of mind control. That's why nobody is willing to raise a finger.
But you know something else, though? And we're all sitting here discussing this exact thing. What do we do? I know people, friends of mine, when we have our discussions, we look at each other and go, what the hell do we do now? And so those people who have got their faces in the television, some of them have it there because they're so confused about all the stuff that's going on right now. They don't know what to do. And for us having this conversation right now, we're having that question. What do we do next? None of us want a war, but we damn sure are going to stand up for what we believe in.
I'm going to tell you something. We are just as powerful as that dimwit president that has pen, paper, and phone. You also can use a pen, paper, and a phone.
I agree.
Get on the horn.
Yeah, we really need more numbers.
Yeah, I hear you saying that all the time, Hawk, and you're absolutely right. We just need more numbers. I tried a couple of years ago to get a little band of guys I knew in the military to get together and start doing some things positive. other than some of the things I've done with the station, I tried to do a little of this, a little of that, but I wanted to get out in the street. I couldn't get one of them to team up with me.
Oh no,
not one of them.
Yeah. I end up in the same situation. I've tried to work with a few people. They ended up being more enemy than. I won't go into that. And then there's another group of people I work with that are just so worried that they're just gonna piss everybody off and get themselves arrested because they can't control their language or something. But we really need more numbers. We need more numbers talking. We need more numbers yelling. We need more numbers on these sites doing these things. And so it's all. We got another round of rallies coming up next month. So, first Saturday of next month, let's get on them.
Well, another thing that really kind of rubs me wrong is when I see these videos that you've been playing, and when they come out and he comes out of the truck and they start shooting. When I see comments in the chat like, well, he went for his gun, he deserved it. I can't believe some of these people.
Some of these.
I mean,
well, it is YouTube chat, but
yeah, but come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, here, let me tell you some. Come on. Last night I was looking. I'm sitting here watching Jeanette Finnegum. Talking about what she was going through. Excuse me, I got the hiccups, and that's why I keep going. Excuse me. You probably don't hear the hiccups, but I keep getting them. But anyway, so I'm listening to Jeanette Finnegum, and quite honestly, what I was hearing was a little bit of a plea for help. So I call Stuart Rhodes, the Oath Keepers, and I'm like, dude, I'm not, some guidance. Are we going to go? Is anybody interested in going to protect her or whatever? And his entire delivery to me was, well, whatever, I don't know. Am I going to go protect his cows? And, Lavoy Finnegum, I'm doing this exactly. I'm telling you exactly what he said. Yeah, what am I supposed to do? We're going to go protect their cows? Lavoy Finnegum fucked himself in the ass. But don't tell anybody I said that.
Oh, you did not. Oh my God.
Yes, he did. And then I'm like, dude, I called you for guidance. Don't be a smartass. And then his immediate response after that was, oh, nobody talks to me like that. Fuck you. And then he hung up on me. So, that was just kind of how that went.
Wow.
That being said, his organization is called Oath Keepers.
Yeah, he was I was an Oath Keeper kind of member. I kind of followed him and whatever, but no more.
What oath is he keeping?
Hey guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't know how good my memory is, but remember the Bundy standoff and everybody was on the horses and InfoWars was there and everybody else and Jerry was there, Jerry Bear, and all these people were walking up to get the cows back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Oath Keepers walk away from that?
Yeah, they walked out. Yeah, they walked away.
Did they walk?
Yeah, not only did they walk away, he himself said there was a drone attack coming in, as if.
Well, I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, but I do connect dots once in a while, and I'm starting to connect a lot of dots that don't look real good. I don't know. I'm not accusing anybody, but I'm just taking notes, if you will.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't get any of these militia guys. It seems like the only time they show up is when they can make a dime or two. Area code 319, you're on the air. Who dat? Where you at? You're on the air.
Hey, Hawk. This is Graph Cat. I don't know if you remember me from the old days.
Oh,
but,
yeah, old days. How you doing, dear?
Hey, not too bad. I haven't been on mainstream media or anything, and haven't been cruising around the net in the last few days, and I just thought I'd cruise over and see what's going on since I seen you had a live thing going on, and this is all shocking. I've just first time I've heard about this today. And
I've been doing this crazy live thing for about 97 days.
97 days.
Well, I just noticed it. So anyway, so I'm sitting here, and here we go with something else. But, it's amazing how we keep having these things come up where we have shooters end up in our schools and we never catch them. But by God, by looking at this with LeVay, that we can sure target our something like this right away, or we can always find these targets that we want to find when we want to find it. But when it comes to really needing to find like ISIS, we just can't seem to get our hands on these people. And now we got the Flint, Michigan thing also. And, we are literally falling apart in every which way. And I don't know if it's to draw our attention to piss us off, so there's some kind of rebellion that goes on. But I think what we need to do, I don't care who they put in office. They're going to be doing exactly what the bankers and the corporations want them to do in the long run. I think Trump could be a catalyst to change things, perhaps. I think he's going to rattle the birdcage quite a bit if he gets in. I think that's what we need right now. I think the response to Trump shows that Americans are getting a little tired of what's going on. I think this thing with LeVay isn't any different.
Grabcat, it's LeVoy.
LeVoy, sorry.
No problem. He was a friend of mine, so.
Really, I'm sorry. This is. To see it doesn't matter how many shots to me, it doesn't matter on how many shots they took. The problem is, this was a guy, you could see his demeanor through the whole Oregon thing, that this man didn't have a mean heart. He was standing for principles. And obviously, principles annoy our government and the people that represent our government now. It's almost like I'm to a point where I'm embarrassed to be an American anymore. And, this terrorist thing, this terrorist thing, if we weren't around shooting off our guns and killing more people, we wouldn't be pissing off other countries to be terrorists. If they came in and did that to us, other countries, Iran, Iraq, you name it, we would be pissed off too and go after them. So why are we coming down when we got our noses in someone else's business that we shouldn't be in? We are literally falling apart in every way you could possibly think about it. The only people, it isn't going to be a rapture. It isn't going to be a new president that's going to solve the problems. God, if there's a God, would want his children to grow up and be responsible. Well, we've failed that so far. It's about time, and I'm not saying pull out the guns and let's go take America back. Let's just stand up and be responsible, and it isn't too hard to make them responsible. We just hand out their pink slips, go in there. The military is supposed to back our decision as the people, last time I knew. There's got to be a way. This is just madness adding on to madness, and we just got to stop.
It's a full-on disintegration that we're looking at.
Yeah, totally. So I just wanted to...
And I must say, a lot of people like Grapcat, welcome back. But I'm kind of finding it really interesting that a lot of people that have evacuated this station over the years are now coming back over my YouTube.
Well, I've been here, just not around very much. I wanted to come around, see how you were doing, see how things have really grown quite a bit since I was last around. Poke my nose around your chat room a little bit.
Well, you're not the only one.
I'm sure.
There has been a whole lot of people that left. The station. We didn't hear from them anymore for a long time. And I'm seeing a lot of that now because I'm on the YouTube doing what I used to do on my station. I guess I don't know.
Things are looking good. I just wanted to let you know that. But
I try.
Oh, the days. The stories we could talk about. But because I ended up going down to New Zealand for a year, actually. That was really interesting. I should share my stories with you someday. But anyway, although some of us walk away, I what I think's funny, the biggest funny, Hawk, I'll never forget when I entered your first round table, and I was just coming into realizing what was going on in the world at that time. And now we're sitting back and, Hawk, it hasn't been that long. Things have escalated to a point where it is chaos. I don't know if I don't want to use bad terminology on the radio because I've learned good lessons, but I'm just going to say it because we're all human. These pricks in charge have really lost the plot. Totally.
It seems like everybody's lost their mind. Terry, you keep making...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Terry.
Hi, Grab Cat. It's Lady Horse.
Hey. Oh, Lady Horse, hi.
I'm still hanging here. I've been here forever.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. But we have to do something. I was talking with some friends over in London, and I got friends down in New Zealand now. And I had one of them ask me a very good question. He said, Kat, do you think the Marys, which that's what some of them call us, short for Americans, he says, do you think the Marys will pull together when shit hits the fan again? And I was like, ooh, that is a good question. As I see it, because I was around shortly after Kennedy was shot, and I kind of remember little bits and tidpieces through time about, in my generation, we were around when we still had box cell phones and Apple and who was it? IBM was about the only computers you could buy. I think, I hate to say this, but I think the system that is in place right now and that has been manipulated by the greediest people I've ever experienced, I think there's only one way, and that is to really, I think the whole system needs to be dissolved, because what is it? There was a college that went back and researched how many laws we actually had. They did the research for 3 years. They still couldn't find the end of the list of the laws to even tell you how many there were. So, I think we've really outdid ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody feels the same as you do. We all kind of feel the same, but the call to action is the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to do a show tomorrow called Call to Action, and it's going to be an open line kind of thing, in which we can all kind of discuss, what the hell are we gonna do?
Yeah, right.
So,
before the bill really comes.
Yeah, Jerry, what's up?
I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to go ahead and take off. I appreciate you taking my call. I'll send in a few bucks to help you with the expenses. I know it costs a lot of money to run the station.
All right, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm getting a little exhausted myself. I need to start winding out of this, guys.
Night, Jerry.
Good night, all. Take care.
Good night.
I'd like to say something about this is 229 Dave in South Georgia.
Go ahead.
I'm proud of the state of Georgia and Florida and Tennessee because they want to have a constitutional convention. And now, listening to, I can't remember the lady's name that has the constitutional thing on the radio, Chris Ann Hall, I believe. She has some very good information, and the information is correct. One of the ways we can get back is to go back to our states, because we, as a nation, are a conglomerate of our states. And I applaud the state of Georgia.
Hey, may I interject in this?
Go ahead.
All right, so the last time we had a constitutional convention, and it's been a long time, 1800s, the only thing that was changed in that constitutional convention was a variation on one of the bills. I can't remember which one. But it allowed lawyers to hold office. In the original Constitution, before that constitutional convention, lawyers were not allowed to hold office in the United States. So let's think about constitutional conventions a little bit. Simply because if we hold a constitutional convention, unless there is some kind of control, imagine Bernie Sanders being in control of a constitutional convention, or Barack Obama, or anybody running. I don't even care. Rubio, Cruz, all of them. Imagine a constitutional convention in which you have any dynamic power. That's the reason I'm not really into the whole constitutional convention idea.
Well, this is my simple point about this, and that is that people at the state level are aware of what's going on, and that's my main point about this. We as a grassroots, as people of this land, that's a good place to start. We're having county elections. One of the things I'm looking into, which of our sheriffs are constitutional. Same thing with my representatives. Are you constitutional? Do you even know what it means? And if they don't, then that right there tells me I need to find another candidate. Either that, or I need to inform this person, one way or the other.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was watching a cop block video yesterday in which some cop was harassing some other dude, and he goes, "What are you, some kind of constitutionalist or something?"
Exactly. And there's a lot of that going on around, and I see it, but I'm proud to say that at least down here in southwest Georgia, I was in town the other day, and there was a gentleman that had a sidearm on in a public place. Not one person batted an eye. Nobody freaked out. Nobody ran for the doors. There was little old ladies in there. There were children in there. Nobody freaked out because he had a sidearm on. And I was like, thank you, man. I went over and shook his hand.
Well, yeah, nobody isn't an idiot. But anyway, I don't know. That's all I got to say about that.
Anyway,
listen, folks, it's getting really late. I'm getting really tired, and I got a massive headache, and I've been really upset all day. I want to come back to this exact conversation tomorrow, but I need to drop out of here.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, Hawk, good talking to you.
Hey, no problem. I've basically been on air since 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's what, 12:03. My brain hurts and my head hurts. So thanks so much, folks.
Thank you, Hawk. Catch you soon.
All right, peace out. Thanks so much, folks.